Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone?
Excellent, sir.
Good.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Everyone's got to test their mics out. Good morning.
Morning.
Come on, let's
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
it.
yeah. Good
Let's
morning,
hear it.
good
Good
morning,
morning,
good morning.
everyone. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Really well.
Good, good. We're just going to wait another minute here and allow for the call to fill up. And I think we're all brave and getting together in July like this, with everything that we've been through this last year and a half, and assuming that everyone wants to still see each other on Zoom in mid-July. But our registration has been quite good, so I wanted to thank you all for attending.
Yep.
Okay. And I think what we will have people joining late, and as a matter of fact, we are going to be recording today's session. And I think you can see that up in your upper left-hand corners of your screen. But I'll kick it off. I'm John Janowick. I'm Executive Director of the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department Heads Association, and I wanted to welcome you all to another rendition of the ACETA Summit. This is, I think this is the fourth summit that we're conducting, and the genesis of the summit series is that the last two annual conferences have been canceled due to COVID, and we felt it was necessary to have a formal way of connecting all of our various constituents together, and we were doing it informally right as the pandemic hit. But we felt having a formal format and program, together for our communities made a lot of sense. And so the summit was born, and this is the fourth one that we've held, and we're really looking forward to pausing Zoom next March and actually physically getting together with everyone. And it turns out we've got a great location. We're going to be in New Orleans next March. And so we look forward to seeing all of you as part of our first live event and just, last really it's been 3 years. So it's going to be exciting to get together. But welcome to the ACETA Lab Pros and Corporate Summit. This is a wonderful program that we're excited to be bringing to the community. Again, we're going to be recording today, and this will be available on the ACETA website, for your faculty as well as any staff that you'd like to hear and participate. Once this is over, it'll be live for you. And I wanted to specifically thank the following companies for their support. It's we wouldn't be here today without the corporate support. I mean, the entire business model around the ACETA Association is upside down because of COVID and the pandemic. We rely heavily upon our registration fees and programming tuitions to get us through the calendar year. But I have to say, each and every one of today's summit sponsors has helped us get through the pandemic by their support, not only their financial support, but by their intellectual property and speaking and actively being a part of our community. So I wanted to thank specifically Keysight Technologies, Texas Instruments, DigiKey, Liquid Instruments, Mouser Electronics, Digilent, MathWorks, Pico Technologies, Rohde & Schwartz, Ansys, Renesas, and Tektronix for your commitment. We wouldn't be here today without you. I mean, this, and it's amazing how many organizations aren't the same organizations pre-pandemic. I have to say we're proud that we've made it through the pandemic and we're stronger. I think, all this online community building that we've done is really paid off. And so our ACETA membership is at a record number in terms of academic membership. Our corporate membership at a record number. We've never had this many corporate members. So thank you all for your continued support and continued participation in our organization. It's really an honor to be part of this community and helping build these bridges between industry and academia. It looks like I've got the heavy announcements here. So these are some reminders that to run a successful summit. And Hayne, I know that you're pretty strong with running these online programs. So you'll keep everyone in line, but I'll read these out aloud. So please keep your mics muted. There's a lot of barking dogs, I'm sure, and get this many people online. So unless you're speaking, keep yourself muted. Let's utilize the chat. I think the chat has really been a saving grace for these programs that we've been running, and capturing the chat for post show production and all the rest is very important for us. So let's get the chat going and keep it lively, because I think it's a great way to exchange ideas and for the speakers, monitor the chat, because I think there's a lot of relevant things that people will put in the chat that they won't, raise their hand and talk about. So let's keep an eye on the chat throughout this next 2 days. Breakout rooms, we'll utilize sort of the birds of a feather discussion for the corporate suites, and you'll have an option to select those breakout rooms at that time. So we do like to have an fairly even distribution with the breakouts, and but certainly your flexibility and giving us your selection is something that we'll try to honor. And the same for the Zoom bridge. We'll use the same Zoom bridge tomorrow for day 2. Have fun, no bad ideas. Ask tough questions. I think both Hayne, Sean, and Sid are ready for you, and let's have a great 2 days. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hayne Shumate, Senior Vice President, Internet Business at Mouser Electronics, and Hayne is also the chair of the ACETA Corporate Advisory Council, and a good friend. Hayne, thanks for doing this, and really very excited for the next 2 days.
Thank you, John. And I didn't realize I was supposed to be the heavy and get on people for microphones, but I'll try to keep track of that. It is really a privilege to be talking to you guys today, and I have to check myself about my own excitement. I know Zoom is just so dreadfully unexciting most of the time, but this topic is near and dear to me. I used to be a teacher a long time ago. And the relationship between education and industry, I think, is stronger here than it must be anywhere else. And that makes this work important to me, and why I volunteered at Mouser to be part of the ACETA group. If you think about it, if you look at my wife's career, a degree in Spanish civilization, if you were the dean of the Department of Spanish Civilization, your content would not be evolving really, really fast. And in our industry and the work that you do, it must move much faster than anywhere else. If we think about it today, I don't think anything is happening in the advancement of our civilization that is not going to happen with your students going forward. Transportation, energy, medicine, it doesn't matter. It all requires this technology that is advancing so quickly. So we put together a couple of panels for you, and I'll introduce them. But they were really, modeled from a couple of different conditions. One of them is this unique relationship between industry and education that is our world. The innovation that happens at the university and in the classroom shows up in the industry pretty quickly, and the innovation that happens in the industry shows up back in the classroom. And I just don't think that happens at the same level in most other areas. And that the second thing that's really impacted what we tried to put together is the climate, both the pandemic and the surge of business that is coming out of the end of the pandemic. To some extent, if there was a contraction in our industry during the pandemic, it was a Braxton Hicks contraction. It was not for real. And I think if you get a chance to talk to some of the other businesses, and hopefully you will, you'll hear about the fact that it was a dummy contraction last year. And really, we're seeing all of 2020's growth and 2021's growth all together at this point. And that's never really happened before. So that makes it really interesting. So the two topics that we're looking at today is lifelong learning and how has that been affected by this climate, both the little bit of moderation and growth that was the pandemic and also coming out of the pandemic. And that was put together by Dave Poloian, and he's also going to moderate that. And I think it's going to be really interesting to hear some of the evolution of lifelong learning and what that really means in this new normal that we're talking about. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about the expansion of simulation and how that also has been evolving because of the new tools, the new ways of collaborating over the last 18 months, what's different about it, and how that might affect the classroom also. And the organizers there were Judy Warner from Altium and Chad Ally from MathWorks. And we appreciate the work they did putting it together. I'm going to help out and moderate that one tomorrow. So I will see you back then. And I also hope that people will attend the corporate suites. As I said, there's a lot of good information right now about what's going on in the industry and how dramatic it is. And I'm sure that should be interesting to just about everyone. So as John mentioned, we are recording this for future posterity. For the folks that couldn't join us today, I think the discussions are going to be really rich, and I hope you enjoy them quite a lot. And I will hand off to the man that needs no introductions. I'm sure Sid's going to talk about LabPros a little bit.
Thanks so much, Hayne. Appreciate it. And thanks for sharing this. This is the topics here are special to LabPros. And did folks notice actually the title that is upcoming? It's like going to a restaurant where all the food items are in the name of the menu. It's like everything included. It's wonderful. I'm going to keep this short. Thank you all for showing up for this. Also, thanks to all the panelists and Mario for organizing and moderating the upcoming panel discussion. I'm looking forward to it. And Sean, want to take it from here?
Yeah, thank you, Sid. My name is Sean Jordan. I'm an associate professor at Arizona State and have been working with the Maker Group as well as with the LabPros within CETA. Just want to say thank you again to all of our panelists as well as the industry sponsors, and also a pitch for a second panel in addition to the one that's coming up tomorrow called We Made It Happen, Real Stories of Student Engineers. And that is coming from a place of wanting to celebrate some of the successes in what has been a very, very difficult year for all of us. And so there'll be stories of startups and capstones and things that we can really get excited about and hopefully learn from as we launch into whatever the coming year brings us. So thank you all again. And I will hand it over to Mario Leone from Rowan next to start us off in our first panel, Help++.